Welcome to Healing Your Heart, Yoga and Meditation for Grief and Loss. My name is Joan Ordilli. I'm the supervisor of Samaritan Center for Grief Support and a certified Hatha yoga instructor. Today's video, which is based on the first chakra, can be done as a standalone practice or combined with the joint opening warm-up for a deeper yoga experience. Based on your own personal needs, the practice can be done from floor to standing or seated in a chair. The verbal instructions are based on a floor to standing practice, but a chair practice is also demonstrated in the video. Today's session will focus on balancing the first chakra, also known as the Root Chakra or the Muladhara. The Root Chakra is associated with the color red and the element earth. It's also associated with the base of the spine, the legs, and the feet, and is a symbol of safety and security in the world, as well as feeling comfortable in your own body. Grief and loss can tap into feelings of anxiety and fear, and also are associated with feelings of security, belonging, and survival. A balanced first chakra can help you to feel more grounded and rooted, like the roots of a tree. Attention to the first chakra through the suggested poses and breath work can help you with a sense of well-being. Affirmations for the first chakra include: I feel safe. I am balanced. I belong. I have what I need. Let's begin today's session. We're going to start in simple seated position or Sukhasana. Legs are crossed. The sits bones are rooting down into the floor. Feeling gravity taking over in the lower body and an energetic lift from the waist up. Shoulders are away from the ears and on the back body, so we have a nice open chest. And let's just start with a little bit of the 3-part Dirga breath. If you'd like, you can place your hand on your belly and inhaling, feeling the abdomen expand right below the belly button, going into the lower ribs and the upper ribs, and then exhaling from the top into the lower ribs, and slightly pulling that belly button in towards the spine at the bottom. And again, inhaling. And exhale. And one more. We're going to begin with some movement. So on the next inhale, arms up, lifting the chin. Gaze goes up. And exhale, arms coming back down by the sides. And again, inhaling. Keeping integrity in the neck, making sure that the head doesn't flop back. Exhale. And again. Exhaling. We're going to inhale, arms up again. And this time we're going to take a twist to the right. So the right hand behind and the left hand across and onto the knee. Inhale here and get length through the spine. And exhale, twisting through that mid and upper back. The gaze can go over that right shoulder. And continue to breathe. On your next inhale, bring the hands and the body back through center, arms up, and exhaling to the other side. And we'll stay for 3 breaths. Next inhale, arms come back up. And exhale, arms by your sides. You're going to transition now into tabletop position. So if you're sitting on a cushion or a blanket, move it off to the side. Your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees under the hips. A nice wide spread to the fingers. Putting a little bit of weight into the upper palm and the fingertips so you're not taking all of the weight in the wrist. We're going to do some cat-cow. So on the inhale, lifting your tailbones, lifting your collarbones, dropping the belly. And on the exhale, come into cat, dropping the tailbone, looking through the legs, lifting the belly into the back. Inhale, into cow. And exhale. And one more time. This time, inhaling to a flat back, curling the toes under. We're going to come into our first downward facing dog. So lifting the hips towards the sky, making sure that the creases of the inner elbows are facing each other. So you might need to put a slight bend into the elbows. Your heels might not reach the floor, that's okay. And let's just pedal the feet out a little bit, breathing. And reaching both heels towards the earth. And slowly beginning to walk the feet towards the hands. And coming into a forward bend. Uttanasana. Inhale, flatten your back, come up halfway. Exhale, back into that forward bend. It's okay if your knees are bent here. You might like having the sensation of the chest on the upper thighs. And if it's available, you can straighten those legs and stay here for one more breath. As we slowly start to roll up like a rag doll. Tucking the tailbone, stacking the vertebrae, shoulders come to the back, chin parallel to the floor. I'm going to turn to face you, and we're going to come into Tadasana, or mountain pose. So lifting all 10 toes and laying them down on the mat. Engage your thighs, which gives an energetic lift to the kneecaps. Ever so slightly tuck your tailbone. Open your chest, chin parallel to the floor. Root your feet down into the earth. First chakra. We continue to root. We continue to find that sense of safety and grounding. And again, let's start a little bit of movement here. Some sun breaths. So on the inhale, arms up. And on the exhale, coming forward, coming into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway, and exhale, forward bend. Giving a bend to the knees, taking up lots of space with the arms, coming all the way up. Hands touch at the top. And hands come into Namaste. And again, inhaling. And exhaling. Inhale, flat back, and exhale. Little bend to the knees, coming all the way up. Hands touch at the top. Exhale into Namaste. And one more sun breath. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, head to the floor. Bending the knees, coming all the way up. Hands touch at the top. Hands come into Namaste on the exhale. And from mountain pose, we'll go into a few more grounding, standing poses to strengthen the root chakra. So let's start with Virshasana 2 or Warrior 2. So step your feet about 3 feet apart, taking your left foot and pivoting it straight ahead and lifting the right heel and moving it back an inch or 2. And think about having your torso stacked right over your hips in line with your body. And on an inhale, raise your arms, and on the exhale, bend that front knee, coming into Warrior 2. Looking over the front fingers, and let's stay here for 3 breaths. And then let's inhale, bringing the arms up overhead, pivoting the feet in the opposite direction, and coming into Warrior 2 on the other side for 3 breaths. Be mindful of having your knee lined up with the middle toe of that right foot. Consider keeping your shoulders away from your ears. And inhale, coming back to center. Let's now go into Trikonasana or triangle pose. Again, pivoting that left foot forward, inhaling your arms to a T. Now begin to move your hips to the right and your ribs to the left. Coming into Trikonasana. You might want to use a block here for your hand. Your gaze can be down, straight ahead, or looking up at that outstretched arm. And let's stay here for another 2 breaths. On an inhale, pressing into the back foot and lifting with the top arm. Coming back to center, and let's pivot in the other direction. Be mindful of having the arch of your back foot lined up with the heel of the front foot. So on an inhale, again, we're going to move the hips to the left, the ribs to the right, and windmill the arms into Trikonasana. 3 breaths. Next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, place your hands on your hips. I'm going to move my feet just a little bit closer. And we're going to take a forward bend. So on the inhale, lift your chin, lift your chest. And on the exhale, start to come forward. Now, again, you might want to use a block to make this a supportive fold. Or if your hands comfortably reach the floor, you could place your hands on the floor and walk your fingertips back to meet your toes. We'll stay here for another 2 breaths. To come out of the pose, bend your knees, place your hands on your hips and lift from the waist. And then heel toe your feet together. Coming back to Tadasana or mountain pose before we move into our next pose. The next standing pose that we're going to practice is Virshasana, or tree pose. So again, starting in mountain pose, with the feet rooting down to the floor, through the floor. It's okay to use a chair or to turn sideways and use a wall for this pose to help steady you. For now, I'm going to use the chair. We're going to drop the weight into the left foot and come up on the toes of the right foot. Then open that right knee. Now you can stay right here with your toe on the floor and a hand on a chair and come into Prakshasana for a few breaths. Another variation of the pose would be to have your foot along your calf or well above your knee, making sure that you don't have the foot placing pressure on the knee joint. Now again, you can stay here with the hand on the chair or lift both arms using your drishti or your steady gaze, finding a space a few feet in front of you that you fix your gaze on as you breathe into this pose. And to come out of the pose, bringing the hands together and bringing the knee back to the floor, and repositioning in mountain pose. If you're using a chair, move it over to the other side, aligning yourself in mountain pose, coming up onto the toes of the left foot and opening the knee. Now again, this is a perfectly fine way to practice Virshasana. Or you might want to go into a fuller expression of the pose, using your drishti to steady you and to help you maintain balance. Knowing that this balancing pose for the first chakra helps us to regain balance in our lives. And bring the hands together and come out of the pose, coming back into mountain pose. And let's just do a little bit of bending the knees and bringing the hands side to side to shake that out. And we're going to start to work our way down now to the floor. Remember that transitions are an important part of any yoga practice. Today, what's going to work for me and my body is to come back down onto my hands and knees, to swing my legs around and my hips to the ground and bring my legs out in front of me. Your transitions can be whatever works for your body in a safe way today. So let's go into a seated forward bend. First of all, rock a little bit side to side so that your sits bones are pushing down into the floor. You might want to have blocks nearby to support your forward bend. On an inhale, raise your arms up, and on an exhale, start to come forward, keeping a flat back and an open chest. Wherever your hands land is just fine. Might be by your knees, by your ankles, or wrapped around your feet. Remembering that there's no goal here other than a good forward bend for your body. So from here, I'm going to do another inhale. And on the exhale, I'm going to surrender into the pose. We'll stay here for 3 breaths, keeping the feet flexed. And it's okay to bend your knees if that's more comfortable for you and gives you a little bit more leeway in the lower back. And on the next inhale, start to walk the hands up, and let's turn and come into bound angle pose. So again, you might want to use blocks to make this a supported pose. the blocks supporting the knees, the soles of the feet together. And on an inhale, getting length through the spine, and on the exhale, just starting to come forward. This might be a really good stretch, good pose for your body today. If your body would like to go further, you can go into a fuller expression of the pose. We're going to stay for another 3 breaths. And then coming up and out of the pose, bringing the knees together, clearing everything off your mat, having a blanket nearby, and let's come into Savasana. So again, finding the length of your mat and rolling down onto your back. Final relaxation is an important part of any yoga practice. So lifting your shoulder blades underneath your body, your palms are up, down by your sides, and let your feet just fall out. And begin to focus on your breath. Once again, I'll take you through a guided meditation during Shavasana. Allow yourself to feel completely supported by the floor. Feel rooted and secure. Continue to focus on your breath if your mind starts to wander. And follow my voice as we create a rainbow throughout the chakras of the body. Starting at the feet and moving up the legs to the lower pelvic area, the lower back. Visualizing the root chakra glowing red. Feeling rooted and grounded. Moving into the second chakra, the sacral area, and visualizing the glowing color of orange. As you move into the solar plexus, visualizing a yellow glow. Moving up to the heart chakra. The connection to the lower chakras and the upper chakras. And visualize the heart chakra, the green glow. Moving into the throat chakra and visualizing the color blue, a light blue, bathing your throat. Moving up to the third eye, the area between the eyebrows. Visualizing indigo. And then to the crown. As you begin to visualize violet or the color white. Allowing the rainbow of your chakras to energize and soothe you. Take a couple more breaths here in complete relaxation. Beginning to bring some movement to the fingers and toes, and rubbing the hands together, covering the eyes. and then washing the face and the neck with the hands. As you roll over onto your right side, cradling your head in your bent arm. Take a few more breaths here on your side, allowing yourself to feel supported, nurtured, connected. Coming back up to seated. Namaste. Look forward to seeing you again